what the word refers to has the meaning. The word book doesn't mean anything. It's B-O-O-K, that's it.
Yeah.
You can be calling this a book.
Yeah.
So this becomes a book.
Yeah.
Everybody agrees that from now on we'll call this a book. So this is a book. It is what everybody agrees to call something. Use certain combination of alphabets. That's a book. But people,
initially-
what is in the book is not the book.
But initially, when suppose if I tell from today, if I started telling this the bag, nobody will tell, right? Initially, they must.
Let me step back. Language, which is arrangement of alphabets. Alphabets in arrangement of sounds. Right? Just imagine, long ago, million to 5 million years ago, when there was no language. There was life. There was nature, there was earth, there was sun, everything was there.
Yeah.
Except language.
Yeah.
Right? So you and I live somewhere and I go out for a walk. Right? And I found a flower. And the flower I didn't bring with me, but I said,
Yeah, we didn't know
I
that
saw
it
something
was
nice,
flower, yeah.
right? So I cannot tell anybody what I saw. What you saw, you cannot tell me. So we two agree that, okay, when I make the sound, ha ha, I take you to see this, sorry flower. I say, when I, ha ha, means this. Means this. Mama means this. Different things you are seeing, right? These sounds we recognize. So when I go again and I see lots of flowers, so instead of saying ha ha, I say ha 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 ha, which means you get an idea. There's more of what I saw. Then we begin to learn sound from animals, like rain comes. The thunder comes, the water flows, the birds begin to chirp, right? The wind blows, there's a whistle sound, there's this, all these sounds. So you and I figured out that this sound is kind of dum 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 dum, very kind of scary. I become very careful. So I make a sound, combination of sound, alphabet, into something which is loud and scary. I make dum.
Somewhat meaningful to
Thunder.
the.
Right. So I say thunder. I say thundara. Thunder. I don't say beautiful. I don't say, oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Expression. Expression with sound, and then those sounds put together. That's how language grew. Right? So when you say book, book is not what that is. Book is what I call it. Same way I call you a lady, man, girl, boy, school, bus, car, tire. All these things are just for convenience. The word tire is not the tire. It refers to something which is round, which can look black or white or whatever. It can roll. Those are the qualities of tire. Right? Same way with book. Book has the quality, something printed on it. Right? It can be right knowledge, it can be wrong knowledge, it can be ugly, it can be beautiful. All the books have different qualities. But I cannot tell you about a book while listing all the qualities of the book. It will take me all day. So I say book. At the most I can say good book. So you know what's printed on it has some meaning. It's good book. Say this book is useless, which means there is nothing, it's not worth reading. But the people who in the beginning called it a book, they didn't write it because the writing came later. Right? They expressed in sounds, gradually became alphabets. So they spoke about it. And people listening memorized it because they cannot write it and they cannot print. That came much, much later. So through the ages, people who knew where everything came from, they just showed it or explained it using sounds. Later on, after many generations, hundreds of thousands of years, they say, well, there are too many things now we know. We cannot remember all these things. There are 5,000 book worth of material. I cannot remember all this. So what to do now? So they took something like a rock or a branch and they started carving on the sand, on the ground. That's language. And they say, well, more people now. First there were 100 people. So we can sit together and somebody talks and they listen and memorize. But if 10 people living here, 10 people living 2,000 miles away and around the world, there are a million people now, right? How do we tell them? So they took sheets of the bark and the tree or stone and they made marks on it, right? And they all begin to understand the same mark means that. Make an arrow, which means going up. Make an arrow down, means going down. Put a plus sign, oh, we have to put together something, this and that together we have to put. So everybody began to understand the same, right? Then gradually the words developed and they start writing. So whatever they had remembered, memorized, they make some sign language. Still now today language is different. Some people write right to left, left to right. Some people actually draw a picture of what they want to say, like Chinese, Japanese, Korean, etc. Some people like more dots and here and there, how to pronounce that word, and then book and then printing press and everything is printed on that book. So why we call that book and that jacket is for convenience. It's just to refer to something. It's not what it is. The word is not the thing. A map of earth is not the earth. But we cannot present the whole earth to tell you what it is. Right? Okay, just say this is the earth and this is this country, this is that country, this is the mountain, this is the river which always flows down, goes in the ocean. All this is shown on this piece of paper and that is earth. So that is a symbol. So people began to know the symbol. Instead of that, you say the symbol. Instead of everything it came from, you say, I cannot bring everything and tell you this is where everything came from. What I understand the idea, everything came from the knowledge of everything, which is there before the everything, right? And this is a symbol. Thank you.
Grishma, can you do the Gayatri Mantra 3 times before you go around?
Okay. Thank you for listening,
Go in the front.
and I hope